Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So today I decided to build the house from American Dad, the Smith family home. I really like building these cartoon houses from shows that Josh and I really enjoy watching. And he has been asking me to build this house since I started doing speed builds. He's been like, when are you going to do the American Dad house? When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? So today, I finally decided to build that house. This house took me probably 3 days to build, off and on. It was a challenge and a half, but it was really a fun challenge. Part of what makes this house challenging is one, it's a cartoon house. So obviously, they can make things and spaces seem like they're bigger or smaller than what I could do in The Sims. So that was definitely part of the challenge. And the roof line. Weirdly enough, one of the most difficult aspects of this build was the roof. And I cut most of it out because I mean, you guys would be here for like an hour watching me just fiddle with the roof. Because when you look at it in the cartoon, and I'll post an image on this side over here. Uh, the house actually looks like a hipped roof. It's got the angles of a hipped roof. But then when you look at it from the side and from the back, it's actually a gabled roof. So I could have done the easy route and just done a gabled roof and called it good and said, well, it's a cartoon, so it can't look perfect, yada, yada, yada. Oh, no. Oh, no. I couldn't take the easy way out. Oh, heck no. So what did I do? I did a weird little roof line where I did like a hipped roof in the front and then did a gabled roof behind it. So it looks a little weird, but it does give you the right lines that you see in the cartoon picture. So that was a challenge and a half. So right now I am placing everything in the living room. The windows and doors were also a bit of a challenge because the window in the house or the door in the house has a window that's arched, and I didn't have a door with an arched window like that. It was really weird. Could have sworn there was. The closest thing I had was this door with the squared windows instead of the arched window, so I went with it. It was the best I could do. The other issue that I kind of had that was a little weird, and you saw it earlier, was placing uh, these pillars in the front of the house. You can only do it every tile, and theirs are like on a half tile, so it looks like really close to the walkway, and that was just the way it ended up being to get it to look right. And that was kind of an annoying little thing, but I mean, I can only work with what I have in The Sims. So right now I'm currently decorating this back table, which is kind of the living room is kind of iconic in American Dad. A lot of scenes take place there. It's usually where they start the episodes, they show the front of the house, and then you're right in the living room. So I really wanted to make sure that I did this living room as best as I could to how it looks in the show with the stairs and the banisters, the green couch. Now, their green couch has like pillows and a blanket on it, and I didn't have one that looked like that, but I had this green couch that was the same shape, so I went with that. They have the wood tones in the show are kind of almost a purpley pink, so I found this back console table, and I end up replacing the side table with the matching one that are kind of this purplish hue, with the pink lamp and some decorations, all of that stuff. So that's kind of what I ended up doing with the lamp. Um, and now I fiddled with the little things in this so much, trying to make it as right as I could. They have the red recliner next to the green couch. I don't know who decorated this, but yeah, they have a red recliner. So I was laying out my options here for red chairs, and then I pulled up the reference image. I was like, no, no, it definitely reclines because Roger gets stuck in it with after he's eaten a bunch of paper towels, and he makes a joke about referencing the Lysol container and how he's like a Lysol container because he ate all these paper towels. He's pulling them out when he's stuck in the recliner, so it had to be a recliner. So I made it a recliner. I got the matching coffee table with that kind of that pinkish colored wood, or as close as I could get to that pinkish colored wood. And they have blue carpet. I've never, in my life used blue carpet in a Sims build, but I did today. So you'll see I'm swapping out there. I'm swapping out the coffee tables. The hardest part of the living room was actually not placing the items, but this side of the wall. It's not shown in a lot of the series. I watched a lot of American Dad episodes to build this house. And it's an older home, and there's an entire episode dedicated to the history of the home and how it's Ollie North's old home and he looks for Ollie North's gold. And it's an old like 70s styled fireplace thing that stretches across, and on one side they have their TV and on the other is like a built-in fireplace. So it took forever. I fiddled with it so much to get it right. So what I ended up doing was the shortest half wall all the way across, and then I found like a table to hide in there using move objects. I put the table in there to set the TV on, and then I raised the fireplace up to set it there so they would be the same length or same height, so it would look like they were sitting on the brick like hearth that was in there. The kitchen, I fiddled with for quite a while as well because it's kind of a weird setup. From the outside, you have this bump out, but when they actually show the kitchen, which is also pretty prominently featured in a lot of episodes, so I found a lot of reference images for the kitchen, it doesn't have the bump out. It's very weird. The outside of the house has it, but in the kitchen doesn't. So what I ended up doing was just doing a straight wall across it to make it a straight room and getting rid of that bump out on the inside and leaving it for the exterior. They have the kitchen door, which they reference the kitchen door is only for family. So I put that in there next to the refrigerator. I don't have the magnet, unfortunately, that's always on the fridge, but I do have the sort of more dated looking brown cabinets with the white tile that are in the show. I ended up putting the stove sort of in there because the stove faces out towards the refrigerator and the family table. I did have to use a smaller table. They have like a rectangular table and that just wouldn't fit in the space. And it took me forever to get the outside portions right and I didn't want to mess with it. So I ended up just choosing to do a smaller square table, which I think turned out really nice with the green chairs because yes, they have green kitchen chairs. It's really quite the interesting kitchen. So it's got yellow paper with a brown trim, which I do end up putting on here. You've got the brown and white tiled cabinets, and then you've got blue flooring. And it's not carpet, but it's the same blue as the carpet in the living room. And so I made this blue tile. I think it's a bathroom tile that I ended up using in there. So here I was building Stan's iconic plate room. And as I was building the upstairs, I realized I put the plate room in the wrong spot. So I had to move it. And Stan's plate room is actually the same room as his office. It's a really massive, big room. But of course, in The Sims, you can't do that size of a room and have the outside portions all work with the lot size. So I ended up making it kind of cramped in there, but it is all there. The massive bookcase, the pinkish purplish curtains in his office, the big massive desk with his laptop, and all of his decorative plates that I moved over there are in there. So I did get the office/plate room done with the green. This is Steve's room, and this room was challenging because I didn't have a wallpaper that was quite right. It's like lime green with a darker green bottom half, and I had nothing like that. So I went with what I had that was closest, which was this color green. It's kind of like a mint green. He has a blue tealish color bed and green curtains, so that's what I gave him. Now I'm working on Haley's room, which is purple. Steve actually busts into Haley's room after Haley runs off with Jeff, and he's talking about how, I'm an only child now. I want a bigger room and a labradoodle. So I knew their rooms had to be next to each other so that people who are fans of the show would know he busts through her closet, actually. So now I'm working on Stan and Francine's room. But back to the kids' room, you'll notice me put a bag of cat food in Haley's room. I wanted that to be the mulch because there's an episode where Haley and Stan go into a competition because she's a hippie and he's not. And he brings in a bunch of strippers to run his garment cleaning business. And she makes mulch, organic mulch to sell. So I wanted to put that in there as like a nod to that episode and her organic mulch. So now I'm working on Stan and Francine's bedroom. Again, like the show makes it seem much bigger than I could fit in this build. So things are kind of smushed together a little more than they are in the series. But it worked. I got it all in there. And there's their bathroom. They have candles on the back of the toilet and pictures. I ended up having to do the bathroom. The tub is actually supposed to be on the other side, but there was no way to make it all work and still be playable, so I ended up doing it kind of differently. And now we're on to the part that will cause the most pain, but the part I'm probably most proud of is the attic with Roger's place, which is the bar that Roger owns with the red bar stools. I got the attic in. This was tricky. I ended up having to do half walls so that the roof lines still matched, because if I did an entire third story, it was too tall. It looked really weird and the lot wasn't big enough to expand it out to make it work. So I ended up doing kind of a funky thing where I put a half wall underneath the roof so the roof is sitting over it. So that's how I got this attic space in there. I gave him 2 closets because Roger has hundreds of wigs and thousands of disguises, so I wanted to give him 2 closets. I did build a basement, and there is a sub-basement that I did not build. I built the basement with the laundry because in the first couple of seasons, the laundry is in the basement because Francine gets locked down there and complains about, Stan, you didn't give me any laundry to do because the laundry's in the basement. So I put the laundry, and then I had all this space. So rather than waste it, I thought, I'm just going to put some stuff that they might have that is now going to be in the basement. So I put a ping pong table. I put a large fish tank from when Klaus gets married and then ends up getting rid of his wife. So I put all of that in there, and I think it turned out really well. So I'm really happy with it. I hope you enjoyed it. It is available on the gallery to download. So make sure you subscribe, ring the bell so you get notified every time I post a video, and I'll see you guys next time.